So you're saying they're actually, if that facility exists, they're probably turning it off.
Yeah, it says they take all, get the exact wording, but they take estates, corporation bonds, estate bonds, trust bonds, and you can just deposit them right at the Treasury Direct. And of course, an estate bond is us, and a corporation bond is us, and everything you're talking about, if you look at it, is us, no matter what it is.
All right.
Whether you're in charge of the decedent, which on the on that, I don't know how you can look at that. Some people say a birth certificate is proof that you're dead because it's a corporation, which is a legal fiction entity. I got to look more into it. You can deposit on behalf of the decedent person, which is your capital letter name, I would assume. Again, I got to go through it. There ain't enough hours in the day to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's treasurydirect.gov, and all the information you need, you'll see it in there.
I'm going to write that down.
So if we're going to cash these in or whatever, I mean, you don't need to go to a bank, I don't think, but and then you could just take the money out of the Treasury Direct account and wire transfer it to your non-interest bearing checking account at a bank and put so much funds in there at a time.
Okay, I'll take a look at that tomorrow.
No, you won't.
What? If that won't work?
No, you won't.
Okay.
When I get done with you, you won't.
Okay, great. Got it.
So, Pat, you're saying not to get yourself involved with the Treasury at all?
Not right now.
Okay.
You will get involved with the Treasury, but you'll get involved with the Treasury the right way when you see what the hell I'm talking about here.
Great. Should we go ahead and just let people catch up, Patrick?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. We're on the air.
Okay. There was a document out there years ago. Basically, I downloaded it, I think, in 2011. I don't know who had wrote all this up, but basically it had a bunch of stamps at the top of it. One of them was a red fox stamp on it. Why? And basically it had why we are in the Admiralty jurisdiction. It was dated April 18, 2014. Well, I know a lot of people have that document out there, and nobody really ever read it and understood it. Okay? To the full understanding and checking everything out on it. It had two parts, one about the UPU and then the other about Admiralty. Well, I took out the UPU out of it and just left the Admiralty, so I'll be sending you a copy of that.
Okay.
The thing is, basically, we have to, all court cases that we go into, we are the American Admiralty. We are the Admiralty of America, the sovereignty of America. Okay? So we have to have everything, when we come into court, we want it in Admiralty jurisdiction. That is our jurisdiction. We are the Admiralty of the land. All of these others are corporations. They are not the Admiralty. They do not want that court to be in Admiralty. they lose all their protections when you come in Admiralty. It's like the old saying, forever hold thy peace. Well, basically, if they say anything, they will be held liable for it. Even the judges in an Admiralty court case.
Yeah,
They can be sued. Okay?
I can confirm that because I was in a court case about a year ago, and on top of the page in red I wrote in Admiralty. And as soon as I seen that, the bailiff came in and told me to leave the building. And that was it. I was out of there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
They don't want you in Admiralty because basically you can if they step out of line or anything, you can turn around and sue their asses. All these people that have had problems with mortgages and everything, they've gone in under a civil venue. Okay? In civil law, basically the state protects themselves because it's all fraud. It's their civil laws. Where Admiralty is basically the law of the land. Right and wrong. And see, they're all commercial corporations. And in most cases, they're foreign commercial corporations. Basically, that article basically stated that they lose when you come in Admiralty. The state weighs its immunity 7 different ways. Through the Suits in Admiralty Act, 3 ways. Through the Bill of Lading Act. Through the Admiralty Extension Act. Through the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act. And through the Public Vessels Act. You add them all up, that's 7 different ways that they have lost their sovereignty. They have waived their immunity. They never really had any sovereignty to begin with, protection. Because they're just a fiction. They're a corporate fiction. To place the pleading within Admiralty jurisdiction, the statement needs to reference either 28 U.S.C. 1333 or 1337. In tax cases, there's 2 other references there. Now, we're operating in maritime law out here, but we are not, as the living, in maritime law. We have to stay in Admiralty. The maritime law is basically for the merchant marine, our peon, our post-orbit peon. He's the person that was created by the 14th Amendment person, but he has lost his RS, like for Canada and Australia and those places. RS stands for Royal Society or Royal Sovereignty. Here in America, it stands for Resident Sovereignty. He's no longer a resident of the land. He has taken up domicile within Washington, D.C. jurisdiction because he's under the Merchant Marine Armed Services Division. Some places call the Merchant Marines the 4th branch of military. I call it the 5th branch. Because we got the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and then I say the Merchant Marines are the fifth. So I say they're the fifth estate of the military. But that's my interpretation. Now, if he's in the military, and you got into the military, creating this bastardly child, whether it's female or male, by either being the father or the mother in the contract, and the state being either the mother or the father, the opposite party in the contract, to make this bastardly child that was put into the service of the Merchant Marine system, and that's called a military wedding. So it's saying right there, you're in the military. Not you, but your fiction. Now, you're the father or the mother. You have to come in and basically take care of the child. Like I said in the last audio. The prisons out here are not debtor prisons. They're prisons because the parents, you, refuse to pay or authorize the settlement of your child's debt. The debt's not yours. And the debt really isn't your child's either. It's all a fraud. But it's their system. Now you have to come in as the father or the mother. As the father, you order the state, the mother, but you have to be in Admiralty because you're also in Admiralty, you're sitting there as the consignee, the obligee, the preferred maritime lien holder, and the private owner, in conjunction with being an American father of age. Now, for a female, she would be the mother, and the father would be the state. That's pretty easy, because in all the laws, the father is the one that has to pay for the child. The mother just has to demand that the father make the payment, which the state is. And I've told women before, you stand by the book of Ruth. You're under the protection of your father, your husband, or your dead husband. And you order the father to make the payment. Now, since we're in the military, you go into court. Every court you go into that has one judge, that is a summary court-martial. The state courts, the federal courts, they're all a summary court-martial. And who is the one that's being court-martialed? Your fiction. And you have to stand up for him and basically order the set-offs. The next level of court-martials is called a special court-martial. And that is held in the state appeals court, the federal appeals court, or the federal court of claims. All three of those courts have 3 judges. And that's what a special court-martial has to have, is 3 judges or 3 officers to basically, they're not really judges, they're officers of the court. See, legally, a woman cannot be classified as a judge. you could never rule over a man. Now, so they're just officers in this military court-martials. Then you have the final, the biggie, general court-martial. And that requires 5 officers or judges. There is only one group that I found that was 5. Not the Supreme Court, none of those. It's a total different grouping, and it doesn't even have court in its name.
Mm.
It's called the Federal Maritime Commission. 5 officers, commissioners. You will find them listed or identified in the Title 46. USC Title 46. Now that's what all these other countries also have to look for, is where is the 5 officers to hold a general court-martial. Because to come out of the system, you're going to have a general court-martial of your post-obit peon commercial merchant man.
Mm-hmm.
To have a full discharge and cashiering out of the foreign commercial maritime system. Sort of like the foreign French Legion. That's why there are so many movies out about that. Then when you get him fully discharged out and cashiering out, or cashiered out, and it's C-A-S-H-I-E-R-E-D or I-N-G, he's being cashiered out of the foreign commercial maritime system, and then you get your full restoration of your natural and American rights and estate back. They may discharge him in disgrace in their system, but he's coming home to you in glory. You will surrender the certificates, notify them of what certificates you have, the numbers and stuff like that, so that they can check this out when you send this order in under a process serving in Admiralty, within Admiralty. I don't have the address for them, but I do have fax numbers. You can go into the website for the Federal Maritime Commission and look up the phone number and fax contact numbers. I sent 2 faxes, one into the Chief Counsel and one into the office of the Chairman 2.5 years ago. But I didn't have this full understanding, so I never really got anything back from them in the proper regards, because I needed to come in and order a general court-martial. And order it in Admiralty. Because then when we're standing in Admiralty, that is basically the expatriation that is addressed in the Expatriation Act of 1868. These 5 commissioners are put there by the president. What does that expatriation act talk about? When you notify the president. And they can't prevent it when you order the discharge. I basically told the commanding officer at my base when I got out of the Navy that I'm not going to re-up. I basically quit this kiss game. I was out of the service in 3 days' time. But I went out in a summary court-martial, being discharged and cashiered out. They cashiered all of my vacation time, everything, and gave me a check. So they cashiered me out. So when they cashier you out, and you're going to basically be, the documents you'll be surrendering, your certificate of live birth, you got a DD-214, you're going to make that one noted, your Social Security account, that's an insurance policy, your driver's license, your certificate of title to your vehicles, your certificate of title to your house. Those are all commercial maritime documents. You have to surrender them. Your baptismal certificate, put that in the fix. This Maritime Commission has powers that you don't know that they've got, because they're dealing with the foreign entities, just like what it says in the Expatriation Act. The surrender is covered in USC Title 46, Section 121, subsection 36. But I would read, I'm going to be posting over to Tom, the whole chapter 121. Now, if you've had any harm against these guys or by these corporate entities, you can turn around and file a court case into the federal district court for harm caused against the Admiralty of America. Now, there is no filing fee when you come in Admiralty. You lay the documents down, but basically you send them to them as a process serving. The best way is if you put it in an envelope and then you have the green return label, or under the green return label, to where the post person puts it on the back of the envelope. You write process served in Admiralty or within Admiralty jurisdiction. Then the green return card goes over that. So now when they sign it and then they rip that card off, all of a sudden they see, hey, they've been process served. You just snuck a fast one in on them. You got to be trickier than these guys are. And like I said, you can file a charge against these corporate, commercial, United States and state of vessels because they lose their immunity in Admiralty. And they can be sued for all damages and harm caused. You will find that in Chapter 309 and 311 in USC Title 46. When I was looking at Title 46 about 2.5 years ago, I didn't look deep enough, and nobody else looked at it either. They just went along with what I said. You guys are pretty goddamn lazy. You want everything handed to you on a silver platter. Well, I'm giving you the damn out right here. But you better know what the shit you're talking about. And this will work anywhere out there. In the other countries like Canada, and basically they're talking about the crown. The people are the crown, the true crown. The nitwit monarchs are just monarchs. Monarchy, whatever. Just like the Israelites, basically, they were given their sovereignty, but oh no, they needed to have a damn king and queen like all the other little peon outfits that were around them. Best thing that the English, Canadians, and all that would be is to get rid of that damn fat-ass queen. And then also get rid of the damn Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, the merchants of commercial usury, the ones that sit around with their hands out and don't do a damn lick of work. Want everything handed to them. So that's what it is. You need to just call up and order up a general court-martial for your post-orbit peon person that lost his RS. Commercial merchantman, and came drummed out of that foreign service. He's a post-orbit. He died at the last point of the age of 25. That's when a man's military obligation was fully fulfilled. It really should have been before that if you went in when you turned 18 and got out when you turned 20. 21 would have been the earliest point in time then. So that's basically what I have. Okay?
Okay.
Now, are there any questions out there that are valid?
Well, it seems
That can contradict me. Contradict me. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Whatever. But you better prove it to me. Because I've got the proof in everything that I say. And we only have to do this. Basically, we can fax this order into them. I did it verbally when I got out of service. I didn't have to have any forms or anything like that. We, the living, have form. It's only a fiction that doesn't have form.
Huh.
And since our person's dead, we want to bring him home so we can bury the shithead.
Oh, Patrick.
So, Patrick, you called our peon a merchant of commercial maritime trade. Is that what you call it?
He is a post-orbit peon, in parentheses, commercial merchant man.
Okay.
And he's operating in the foreign commercial maritime system. The armed services.
Right.
And that basically falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation. But see, we're not going to the Department of Transportation. We're going to the Federal Maritime Commission, which basically is the commission to do the general court-martial.
Right.
And basically it is also in compliance with the Expatriation Act.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
So I'm on the website, Federal Maritime Commission, and I see that there's the 5 commissioners that you're talking about, and one of them's a woman. So is that still...
They're officers. They're officers in the system, okay? It's still valid.
All right.
Who is it, Rebecca?
It's, Rebecca F. Dye.
Yeah. And see, these guys are changed out. They're only in there for a 5-year period. So 2 of the ones that I have on my list should have been replaced. But I'm not going to send it to an individual person. I did the last time. I'm going to send it to the office of the chairman. Because I do have the fax number and the phone number for those 2 offices. Now, we send them in. We tell them what documents we're going to be surrendering. We give them the document numbers, the commercial document numbers, and then we say that basically the others will be signed over upon the completion of the full discharging and cashiering out. I didn't sign the final DD-214 discharge until basically they gave me all of my cashiering out. That was the last thing that I signed.
Mm.
This will bring the men in black to your door.
So we better understand it.
And see, any of these documents you send in, even to the banks, you need to address that this is in Admiralty jurisdiction. That you're cashing that note or whatever in Admiralty at the bank. Now, if they don't comply, now you can turn around and sue that bank in the federal district court for not fulfilling their obligation under Title 46, Section 309 and 311. They just lost their immunities because they're a public vessel operating under the jurisdiction of the United States corporation or the state of corporation. So if the United States and the state of can lose their immunities, these banks can lose theirs too. And see, they're the mortgagors. Section 313. People that have a mortgage, house mortgage, need to read that one thoroughly. The mortgagor can face up to 2 years in jail and also $10,000 a day penalties. They've been paid. Pretty much just like what Bill Turner was talking about, that guy up in Canada, that he sent the document, and basically, lo and behold, the car dealership said, oh yeah, we received a check for that 5 days ago. The banks have been paid. You just didn't know how they were paid. And I've tried to explain that for years. That the bonds were written and they were on a 3-year cycle. That's right in the Comptroller of the Currencies definition in Bouvier's Law Dictionary. That when you basically went and signed up for that mortgage, the bank turned around and wrote bonds to cover that mortgage 10 times the value. 10 bonds for 3 years at roughly 5% per year. For 10 bonds, that's 50%. 3 years, that's 150%. So at the end of 3 years, basically the return has paid for the house. And people that are going out here doing this executrix and executor and all this other bullshit, they're wrong. I've said that. And some places, they may give it to you, but in most places, they're going to deny you because you're still operating in civil law. In the civil court, you're not operating in Admiralty. Because you don't know who and how you really are. Just like Bill down there in New Zealand was saying, they're in the crown. Who is the crown? The crown is the people. Here in America, we are the Admiralty of America. Okay, any questions?
We can still continue with the notes while we're going after the big banana here, as long as we make sure they're in Admiralty. The notes to the bank and the court.
You get this in there basically in 3 days' time. You tell them you want fucking out of the service. You're going to be out in 3 days' time, Tom.
Okay, that's better. Good. Okay.
I mean, would you rather be out or would you rather be trying to play around their damn pissy-ass games?
I'd rather have one big deal and get it done with.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to go over that. I found the original Freedom School article and posted the link in the Skype group. But you're going to have a modification of it, which is great.
Well, I just pulled out the Admiralty part of it, and then basically I added the sections out of Title 28 and a couple others in there that basically were addressed in that Admiralty part.
Okay.
But see, most people never fully understood what that pastor down in Cincinnati was saying. And he won all his court cases.
Which pastor was that?
It's in the article. Read the article.
Oh, it's in the article.
You pulled it up.
Well, I pulled up the link, but I haven't read the article yet. Yeah, I lived 30 years in Cincinnati. Okay, I'll go over that.
Pastor Strandering or something like that.
Okay.
Richard Strandering.
Didn't hear them. Okay. Well.
Whether he's still there, I don't know.
That's standard.
Well, we'll find out.
You don't need to find out.
Okay.
God damn you people. Read the damn article. You don't need to go any further than that.
Okay.
Basically, it tells you right the hell what needs to be done.
I've got the link. I'll go do it.
Good evening, Patrick.
Is the article in the Freedom School website?
Yeah.
I don't know where it was at. It had a bunch of stamps at the top, and it was about UPS or whatever the hell.
Yeah, just let us know when you find it, Thomas, so we can read it.
Well, the one that I put, the link I looked at, it is in Freedom School, but it doesn't have stamps. But from the quick Google I did, I think it's posted up in several places. So we can look at each one of those and see if they're any different.
Yeah, see, everybody wanted to put these damn stamps on the thing. You don't need to do that. I mean, I always thought that was outright ridiculous. Got to have this red fox stamp for $1 on your damn documents. What the hell is a damn red fox going to do about anything?
Well, I think that made us a postmaster and made our documents true and correct. I think that's why they did it.
How many people have gotten any relief because of a damn stamp?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Right. At the time, that was what people were.
Yeah, it was just a bullshit scenario that somebody came up with and said, okay, yeah, we got to do this.
Make a ceremony.
It doesn't make any sense in the world, okay?
Right.
It doesn't have any codes or anything like that behind it. It doesn't have any statutes saying that this is what you have to do.
Well, finding out that we're peons instead of dead people, it helps a lot, you know.
Well, we're not peons, okay? Our
No,
fictional
peons,
person is a peon.
The merchant guy is a peon.
Yes, our merchant marine is a peon, okay? They took the RS away from him.
Right.
So he's no longer a resident sovereign. We are a resident sovereign out here, but they are not. And see, now we have the means that if they arrest us on a bullshit seatbelt charge, you can take them to the federal district court and really take their bonds out. Get rid of these damn nitwit cops that basically don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And the county attorneys and the judges that are right behind them, pushing them on.
Yeah, go out and
see the courts have to take these documents And there is no court filing fee when you put it in Admiralty. Because that is the constitutional document that you need to put in to the court, is in Admiralty.
Okay, when you faxed it in, is that fax confirmation the equivalent of the green card, or should we still send it in
Yes,
certified
it is.
mail?
It's a confirmation
Okay,
of delivery.
very good. And we could put process served on the fax.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll put a template up there for you nitwits that don't understand and can't think for yourself.
Yeah, you are a good sport.
But this is getting very boring, laborious, time-consuming on my behalf to do all the damn legwork for you guys. I mean, I had this information out here about Title 46 2.5 years ago. If there would have been a few other people out there that really read anything in there other than what I was looking at, we might have been out of the system by now.
Hey, Pat, so how does this affect not using a Treasury Direct account?
Huh?
How does this affect, you say earlier, not to use a Treasury Direct account? We wouldn't need it.
We'll see what comes down, okay? When we get out, okay, we'll be getting gold-backed bearer bonds. We can place them anywhere we want. You may want to take them and just pack up and head to China or something like that. They've got whole towns over there that nobody's living in right now.
You know, Detroit.
You might want to go to Tahiti. You might want to go to South America. You might want to go down to Venezuela. Get out of this place before it goes to hell. And they pull the plug on everybody else around here, and basically then you've got all these vampire animals running around just killing one another.
Hmm.
I mean, the movies ain't lying to you. They're telling you the exact truth of what's coming down. Your worst enemies, in 90% of the cases, are going to be your family. You understand about this court-martial scenario?
Yeah,
I posted in some of the other Word documents that I had up there.
Right.
About this.
You explained the court martial pretty well the last time, so I see where you're coming from on that. Have to go over it several times to make sure it all sinks in, but I get it.
Yeah, and we have to have a general court-martial to fully discharge and cashiering our person out of the service.
Yeah. That was a great idea looking for the 5 judges.
Yeah. and see, that's the Federal Maritime Commission.
Right.
5 officers or 5 judges. And that's the only place that I could find that there was 5 officers in a group. I mean, it's just like the movie of Tom Cruise, A Few Good Men. That was a general court-martial. There was 5 judges there.
That's the one with Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I heard there was the summary court-martial, which is like what our civil courts are when there's one judge. And I understand the general court-martial with the 5 commissioners. But what was the third one? I forgot to write. I couldn't write.
That's the special court-martial, and
Okay.
that's the state appeals court or the federal appeals court or the federal court of claims. They have 3 judges.
State appeals. Yeah.
State appeals court,
Yeah.
federal appeals court,
All right.
and the federal court of claims.
Okay.
And see, basically, the state courts can't operate in Admiralty. That's why they run for the hills when you bring up Admiralty in their damn court case. And if you're standing in Admiralty and they've caused you harm, you can turn around and take that judge, that prosecutor, and all of them into the federal district court and file charges against them. Sue them for damages and harm caused. For not paying, paying the appearance bonds and for not settling the damn traffic tickets out of the damn insurance policies like they were supposed to. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I'm just going to write that. Not settling out of their insurance policies. That
out of your insurance policies. That driver's license is an insurance policy.
Right.
The property tax on the house, that is that certificate of title is an insurance policy on the house to pay the property taxes.
Right. What I started to say was I gave a flag speech and I did the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act on a judge in a court, and they ran out. They ran out.
But basically, if you do it, keep it in Admiralty, basically, you don't have to worry about all this other garbage.
Right.
You just say, I'm operating within Admiralty. See, the corporate United States is not within the United States. The United States is the land that make up all the states. The United States Corporation, commercial corporation, is operated out of Washington, D.C. That is not within the United States land. It's a 10-mile square, whatever piece of shit that is outside the jurisdiction of the land of America, of the United States of America.
Right. So
it had to be set up that way so that basically it could operate in international law.
Mm-hmm.
And protect the land in the process so that they could be sued in the international courts, but they could not sue the land. The Admiralty. Yeah, if they want to come over and burn down the Washington Monument and all the other damn piece of shit buildings there in that 10-mile square, more power to them. Because that is not the United States of America. We are not that damn capital. We can always build another capital somewhere else, maybe out in Kansas City. Okay, any other questions?
Seems like not, Patrick.
Okay, well, hopefully our buddies down there in Australia and New Zealand basically were able to figure this out, that it needs to go into general court-martial and that they need to be operating in Admiralty in all their court actions.
I'll make sure
Okay.
Santos gets the call.
Admiralty of the Crown, and they are the Crown.
Right.
So they're on to that part. They just need to complete the rest of it.
I'll make sure Santos gets the call.
And I'll get these other documents sent over to you tomorrow.
That'll be great. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, this is very good.
Okay, you guys
Very
have a good night. Talk to you later.
We will.
Thanks,
Thank
Pat.
you.
Okay, bye.
Sure. Bye.
Tom.